program with their families. So we want to be able to have constructive conversations on our live, even as the information is being disseminated from this particular platform. This evening, I want to also take the opportunity to thank you, our viewers, who continue to ensure that the Minority Report is well viewed and that the information that is put out via this particular platform, that information is spread near and wide. And I'm saying near and wide because every part of Tobago that you go to, you hear someone watching the Minority Report and the information is getting out. Having said that, I want to encourage those of you who have not yet begun to use this particular opportunity as a medium to get your information out. We have been receiving quite a bit of letters, and I'm saying that because it has prompted a particular segment that we're going to roll into shortly. And by shortly, I mean probably in the next or in the upcoming program, where we are going to have your letters read, and we're encouraging persons to send your information, anonymous even, with respect to what are some of the challenges you're having. And so far, without even putting that out there, we've been receiving information on various issues. I'm going to just highlight a few of them in a while, but we're going to be encouraging folks to do that. Get your letters out there and send the information to us. So as we roll into the program this evening, let me take the opportunity to introduce with me in studio my guest for this evening, someone who is definitely no stranger to the show, someone who continues to not just take this fight out to the administration in the House, but also on social media, in studio, in her very day-to-day work. It's a great opportunity to welcome Councillor Petal Daniel Benoit to the program this evening. Welcome, Minority Councillor.
Thank you, Marilyn. Good evening. Good evening to everyone looking at us. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. Thank you for your continued support of the Minority Report. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, and we are ready to go this evening. We want to begin the program on a bit of a somber note. Sometimes, you know, you encounter things along the way, and you have questions. This week, 2 days ago, to be exact, on Sunday evening, the PNM Tobago Council lost a stalwart in the person of Mr. Samuel Wilkinson, who tragically lost his life at the Lowlands Highway whilst attempting to cross the highway at night. This indeed is sad for us as a party, for the Tobago Council on a whole, and Mr. Wilkinson was a true stalwart of the People's National Movement Tobago Council, a real foot soldier, a real go-get-it type of guy. I mean, I've never seen him given a task that he wasn't up to the time with and ready to just go. They're very humble gentlemen, and it's really a tragic loss that we're experiencing, having lost Samuel in such a manner. It was totally unexpected. Minority Council, I know that you as well would have been familiar with him in some regard.
Yes, I want to join in extending our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Wilkinson. And, you know, that accident brought back some memories. And the fact that the Newsday decided to use very tragic incidents, and I know there was quite an outcry from Tobagonians in terms of bringing back those memories. And I think in recent times, we have been experiencing some very tragic accidents and deaths and losses. And we just pray for God's guidance and continued protection. We pray for comfort for the family at this time, because we know this is unexpected, this
Yeah.
is tragic, and of course, nobody ever thought that Mr. Wilkinson will not return home on that very tragic day. So we do express our deepest and sincerest condolences.
And Minority Council, I'm glad you went in the direction that you did in terms of what we have been seeing, especially this year. We've seen a number of strange,
very, very
strange occurrences that end in death. We've seen a number of young persons just taken away from us in some bizarre circumstances. And yes, I would echo your sentiments that it is a cause for concern, but even more so a cause for us to now come together in prayer. I think that is of utmost importance now that we recognize that something is amiss. There is something wrong, and we cannot, as a people, just sit idly by and look at this. And I'm certain that many persons who are out there, viewers, persons throughout Tobago, have also asked themselves the same question.
Sure, yeah, because you hear the conversations.
Yeah, you're hearing the conversations.
People, speaking about the issues.
Yeah.
People talking. And I remember, was it last year or earlier this year, when we had 3 deaths basically on the same day, hours apart. Yeah. And, we really bleed for the families.
Mm-hmm. This was, it was a real shock, and I know the party it's a great loss to the party, not just because of the work that Samuel did, but because of his general presence, his general persona, always bubbly and ready to make a joke with you. I saw him up to the week before, and I remember there's something I always tell him, Wilkinson is a razor. So I always tell him he's the only razor blade that's not sharp. And he would laugh at it. And when this occurred, I couldn't even believe. I couldn't believe. So really, we want to extend our condolences to the friends and the relatives of Samuel Wilkinson on his passing. It's a tragic loss. And we stand ready and willing to lend whatever assistance that can be lent from the minority leader and the minority councillor, the office of the minority leader, to the family going forward. Moving on from Samuel, it was like
a tragic loss.
A double whammy these last couple of days. We also just this afternoon, as a party, lost who became affectionately known as Uncle Terry Rondon. Terry Rondon was the former chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, and served as a councillor and chairman and everything for as long as I could remember. In the local government arena, I think he was so respected on all sides, whether the UNC, whatever the party is, that he was around. They respected.
Oh, Mr. Uncle Terry, as he would follow.
Yeah, Uncle Terry.
He was a community man. I actually met him, and this had nothing to do with politics. I was a part of an NGO, and we would do work at that time. I think the work still continues with the NGO and the community in Matlots, and that was one of the areas that Uncle Terry would have represented. And Uncle Terry would be around. He would be around supporting, helping, coordinating. And at the time I was living in Trinidad, and we would journey from Port of Spain to Matlock ever so often to provide that support. Journey. And Uncle Terry would be there each and every time. Yeah. And then fast forward into the politics now. Of course, my last interaction with him was the Sports and Family Day in Toko. And of course, again, Toko is his hometown.
Yes.
So he was a really, really exceptional host. He hosted the Tobago delegation. And of course, the entire PNM delegation to Sports and Family Day at Toko. And Mr. Rondon's service to country,
Yeah.
to community, to party has been exceptional.
Yeah.
And this is indeed a great loss.
He definitely, he personifies the word irreplaceable. You know, there's never going to be another Terry Rondon. And you spoke to his hospitality. If it's one thing that you are guaranteed when you enter the realm of Terry, Uncle Terry Rondon, is that you literally have absolutely nothing to do. He ensures that you are well taken care of, and as he affectionately says it, this is Tokos and the Grandi hospitality. This is not a regular hospitality here. You know,
he took pride.
He took pride in what he did. You know, his life over the span of his political career has impacted thousands, hundreds of thousands. I know a number of young people who attribute their turnaround in life
to him,
to Uncle Terry. You know, and he was he was always willing to stop and listen to you. Yeah. Regardless of what he was doing. It's like, when did he find the time?
He personified man on the ground. That was him. If man on the ground was a person, it would have been Terry Rondon. Because even when the PNM became unpopular in that regional corporation,
didn't stop
Terry was the lone PNM representative in the corporation. And it's the way that he embodies that whole representation of the people.
Irreplaceable. You know, so I mean, we really want to send out our condolences to the family, the friends, and the party as well of Terry Rondon. And I mean, there's no way that you could stop talking about someone like that, who has had such a mark, who has had such a long-standing and outstanding political career. And I dare say, who is irreplaceable. You know, so we really want to send those condolences out as well from the minority leader, minority council, and the minority council on a whole. Uncle Terry will be missed. I also know that he had quite an impact on the minority leader as well, who would interact with him from time to time and always have fond statements and memories about Uncle Terry. So we really, really stand in a place of solitude now as we mourn the passing of those two PNM stalwarts, Uncle Terry Rondon and our very own Samuel Wilkinson. Folks, we are going to take a short break, and when we get back, we head into some other discussions. So stay logged on, stay locked on, and we'll be right back.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Mount Pleasant Credit Union Back to School Loan Promotion. Loans up to 15,000. Requirements: job letter and a payslip no more than 1 month old. Utility bill, copy of book list, salary deduction, 10% down payment. For self-employed persons, evidence of income and expenditure, bank statement, 12 to 18 months. Other supporting document. Promotion ends October 18. Contact us at 639-8375 or 8108 or check us out on www.mpcutobago.com or email us at loan@mpcutobago.com. Mount Pleasant Credit Union's Back to School Loan Promotion.
But this place so boring enough. We don't even do nothing. Let me go somewhere now.
I really want some new things, yes?
Then look no further. Portmore is the place for you.
Oh, really?
Yes, you can have anything that your heart desires. Take a look for yourselves. A world of endless opportunities. Feeling hungry? Go get something to eat. Books and stationeries, games, and much more. Portmore, the island's beat.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
most deals and the most vibes and the most cars and the most price. The most giveaways, the most parade. Having a Christmas season with me mobile. I want a Christmas season with me mobile. Bring me sorry, let me toast to a Merry Christmas. Having a Christmas season with me mobile.
Top up, buy a plan, sign up or pay your bills to enjoy the best Trinbago Christmas. Be mobile. Life is on.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
And folks, we are back in studio, and joining us on set, I want to go right into it and introduce him. Again, as I like to say, no stranger to the set of the Minority Report. Welcome, sir. How are you this evening? So welcome, Quincy Devines, man in the house.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to your viewers. Good evening, Marilyn, of course, to the counselor. I'm happy belated birthday to you, counselor.
Oh, yes.
Of course, she just celebrated another milestone, another trip around the sun, as they say. So a happy belated birthday. I know it's probably a week or month of celebrations. But it's always a pleasure to be here, of course, to be on a program that I see growing in terms of its role of bringing balance and facts to the people of Tobago. What I recognize, I remember you said it when I was here last, that, you know, so many people are afraid to click to add to the views, but really and truly, people are watching, because the last time I was here, I actually left all fours. I was playing all fours. And the amount of people who stopped me to say, "But I thought I saw you in we were doing on TV after," and I realized, but they couldn't be watching the program because they were also playing all fours. Clearly, people are watching the program, and that's a good thing, because the message is out there, and I think people want to find a reliable source of information.
Yes.
And the Minority Report is just that.
Thank you very much, and we intend to keep improving and improving and improving and getting better at getting the information out there. You know, on several platforms that have been taking place recently, especially on our Mourning, we're seeing members of this administration going on and speaking, I don't want to say deliberate falsehoods, but probably they are unaware of some of the information that they are putting out. And you know, when you go on to the live, and normally I would go on and engage in the conversations, and many persons, those well, let me say the few who would want to oppose, I always say to them at the end of it, well, let's meet up in Scarborough, probably the Esplanade. I will bring my documented evidence of the development of the PNM for the past 21 years. And you bring your proof that PNM did nothing for the past 21 years, and we will go live for the discussion. And normally that's where the conversation and the banter ends, because it is really just simply that banter. You know, just trying to shape a narrative that does not exist in reality.
Well, I'll go one better than you, Marion. Oh, before I forget, let me add my condolences, of course, to the family, friends, loved ones of Uncle Terry. A real soldier, somebody who opened his arms. He loves to see young people in the movement, and he's somebody who opened his arms to me. So, condolences to everyone. But I just said I want to go one better than you and trump you. I got a story from a nurse. She said that she was at Roxborough Hospital.
Yeah.
They were, of course, doing the eye surgery, cataract surgeries that we had set up to get going. And, of course, people are benefiting from that. And a guy who had just benefited from that very program and was in recovery, and it was the follow-up clinic, was there arguing that PNM did nothing for Tobago in the Roxborough Hospital after benefiting from the cataract program. So
yeah, that one wins.
So
it's unbelievable how people could look around Tobago and say PNM did nothing for 21 years, and PNM did nothing for the development of Tobago.
It is amazing.
Do you remember Tobago in 2000?
Pre-2001.
Yeah.
Pre-2001.
I always say I had the benefit, because at the time, 2001 is when I finished sixth form, Bishop's High School. And so we were at that eager stage to get involved in all that was Tobago. And I remember Ada Ring Bang was a big thing at the point in time. And of course, my parents were both teachers, so they were just called criminals by former Prime Minister Basil Pandey. So it was a lot for us to take in and take on. And of course, just the state of the roads, the level of unemployment, the fact that when I was leaving high school, you know, some people were able to go to UE because their parents had money, but that was not a reality or a thought for me. My parents had 4 children. I have 4 children, and it's not something I know we could afford. But now look at everyone accessing tertiary education. Look at the opportunities. I mean, some people, of course, everybody wants to know work with the THA, and again, the level of unemployment was so much higher in 2001. The kind of the roads, the connectivity of roads weren't there. Of course, there was not Spring Garden Road. A lot of the roads in lowlands, Mount Pleasant, weren't there. The roads going to the countryside on the Winwood Road, you had to blow your horn around almost every corner.
Every corner, correct.
You had to blow your horn. The secondary schools, it was Bishop, Scarborough Sec, Compre, Elizabeth College, Roxborough Sec.
Well, Elizabeth College was a private school.
The private school, yeah.
But in terms of government
schools,
yes.
they
You have Mason Hall,
correct. Goodwood
High.
So
primary schools.
Look at the community centers.
Primary schools, yes, community centers, health centers.
Multi-purpose facilities.
I went to Mason Hall Primary School, correct.
How we used to transit to Trinidad. Panorama,
it was 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, you were getting to Trinidad.
You had to walk with your sheet.
Yep. All 4 was a much bigger thing then.
I remember even being on a program and speaking to the fact that there was a time when you used to have to take the boat from Scarborough and go around to get to Castara.
That did steam engine, so that's the steamer.
Because there was no roadway to actually...
Yeah, the coastal steamer, they call it. But yeah, so there's so much done. And again, for me, coming from that time of school, secondary school life into my adulthood, it's plain to see. I mean, I think people, because they take it for granted that it has been there, they don't know what it was. Even the amount of vehicles on the road.
Yes.
We used to play football in the road all the time. Mariah, as a matter of fact, Mariah, where I come from, my poor as a reason, used to always laugh at Mariah football team because all our games were away games. We played football upon a place called Flats. It was a little flat place on top of a hill. If you kick the ball too hard, the young ones, especially me, is down the hill for the football. Basketball, same thing. And now Mariah, who would have thought, has a football field, basketball court, football field with lights. Even I can never forget when Shaw Park got lights for the first time, and that was the most amazing thing.
It was very bright.
No, every field they go on,
it's
a normal thing.
But even the general standard of living at Tobago, no, if you look in people's homes, people would have upgraded their homes.
Yep.
People would have had over that time more available income.
Disposable income,
cars. People would purchase. The general standard of living would have increased for Tobago
tremendously
during that period.
Actually, I remember, and I think last week I circulated a short documentary to you guys. The IMF, just before COVID, had done a survey, and we were ranked number 49 in the world in terms of standard of living. And in the world. And what the documentary spoke to is the fact that many of the developed countries, Trinidad and Tobago's standard of living was even better than that. And it speaks volumes to P&M policy and everything of this sort. So, I mean, the naysayers, we don't even have to take them on. Now, we're going to, again, we have some deep discussions, and Chrissy, I'm glad that you're here because we have to delve into certain things with the quarry, with the sitting, with the refusal to answer some questions and so on. And we want to expand on that conversation. Before we do so, we have to pay some more bills. So we're going to take a short break again, folks. Get some more persons involved in this because trust what I'm saying, you all would definitely want to hear the information that is going to be shared here this evening. So let's go, take a break, pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
Hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material. Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
This Christmas, speed is on us. Get up to 300 megabits per second of speed with our new Link Up Plus plan. Enjoy more speed, more channels, and free streaming for less. Plus, introducing Link Up More with up to 1 gig download speed. Download, stream, video calls, share memes, and more. Get free installation when you sign up in-store or online today at discoverflow.co.
The Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development has relocated its Crown Point office to Glen Road in Scarborough to better serve you, our clients. Our main office is located at the corner of Glen Road and Glen Road Branch number 1, the building formerly occupied by Coastal. Our Grant and Electrical Inspectorate services can be accessed at number 2 Montessori Drive in Glen Road, building 1 and 2.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house gets flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Mom.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Exhale Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tapago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tapago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tapago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tapago's at your service.
Welcome to Limage Parfait Day Spa, your urban oasis and wellness center. Our services includes massages, treatments, facials, pedicures, weight management, detox programs, and much more. Call us today at 624-1452 or 720-7474. Trinidad locations and Bonacore, Tobago at 273-7772. Let us treat you like the VIP you are.
Welcome back, folks, and we are in studio. We're up and running again. We are ready to rumble, and joining us this time, again adding to the panel, we have Assemblyman Kelvin Morris, Minority Leader in the House. I know before we get in, you would want to offer your condolences as well to Samuel's family and Uncle Terry, Samuel Wilkinson and Uncle Terry Rondon.
Let me say good night to your esteemed panel. Former Secretary, former Councillor Chrissy Devines, Councillor Petal Daniel Benwan, to you, our moderator Marilyn, and our viewers locked on and listening. Let me say good night. I would firstly want to extend condolences to the family, friends, loved ones of PNM stalwart Samuel Wilkinson, who lost his life in that unfortunate incident on the highway. And of course, I also want to send out condolences to the People's National Movement, the people of Toco, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, all of whom came to know and love that selfless, genuine, caring individual that was Uncle Terry Rondon. You know, I knew of Terry before I knew Terry, because as a young person, just seeing this person on news right through, fighting the cause of the people in Toco, and he was ever so present, ever so vocal. You would hear him whenever there's some natural disaster, he's front. And you know, so you just got that sense of that is what representation should be. And I always said, you know, that was one of the persons I always admired, because he was always championing the cause for those who were less fortunate, those who are underprivileged. He's always there, willing, able, ready to give. And then I came to know him personally. And so, you know, when you're anytime you're in that Toko Sandy Grande region, he's always there to give you a treat. Yes, and you will know he is into farming in a big way as well. So always have those produce ready for you. You know, so he was always hospitable, always welcoming, always loving, and we will definitely be missed. And we really want to send out condolences to all his family, loved one, the PNM family, people of Toko, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader. We want to go right into this evening. We know that last week we had another sitting of the House of Assembly, and after some time and a bit of a stutter, we saw the sitting start, and then there was a suspension that took place, and then we saw the sitting restart. We don't know what really happened there, but a number of things took place in that sitting. One of those that stood out the most is yet again the reluctance to answer questions. Minority Leader, take it away for us. Explain to us what we're looking at. It seems as if it's getting worse.
Well, when you think it can't get any worse, it just keeps getting worse. And when you believe that they can't go any lower, they're actually carrying they stick lower and lower and lower. I guess they're doing limbo now. They're limboing with Tobago's future, and it is really unfortunate. I sat there in shock, horror, shame, and embarrassment, because we had not only visitors from Tobago, students, but we had a visiting group from Trinidad as well. I think it was somewhere around Arima or so. One of those schools would have taken the time to come to Tobago as a study tour to view live the Assembly Legislature and to see that display in front of the children of all. It was like, what example are we setting for the future generation when in a place that's supposed to be one of the, well, in terms of Tobago, our highest house of legislature, our highest place of honorable men. And these supposedly honorable people could not even show up on time to one, treat with the business of the day, one of the most important being the questions to secretaries and the chief secretary. And even worse, was the chief secretary not even being present for his own motion. I could not think of anything more embarrassing. And what was most curious to me, and we have former leader of assembly business here, is that the leader of assembly business was also absent at the point when the presiding officer called for the motion. So she wasn't even around to treat with either asking for a suspension, a delay, and it was just a series of mistakes, missteps, and it's just symptomatic of an administration that is out of their depth, an administration that has clearly collapsed because nobody could have accounted for no one. Imagine the Secretary of Agriculture. And you know, illness is not something to play with. And I also believe illness is something not to misrepresent. And we were told that, well, nobody knew what was happening with the Secretary of Agriculture, while Councillor Benoit and a couple others did send their notice, notice of excuse. There was no notice of excuse, no message coming into any colleague, but the secretary was just missing in action. And I can't understand, for the life of me, if you value the institution that is the Tobago House of Assembly, would you not at least treat it with the respect that it deserves? And that tells me clearly that they do not value the Tobago House of Assembly as an institution, and they just don't care about the people of Tobago on a whole. And so this thing went on like a series, a comedy series, where we there waiting, and then we are told, based on the information I got, and I'm going to share it, based on the information I got, is that the secretary was was ill to the point that perhaps, she would have fainted.
Oh.
That is what we were told. So I was quite concerned. However, I saw the secretary come into the house and was very lively. So I don't know, but that is what we were told. And, I am sometimes speechless when I'm dealing with these people, because and Councillor Devines could tell, because I'm sure in terms of us looking on when the P&M conducted their business, it was serious.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and I don't think any P&M chief secretary would allow any member of his or her executive to run afoul of the assembly legislators, how we are seeing it being done today.
Well, if I were to come in here, there are two things. One is basic good respect and manners. The fact of the matter is that, as you alluded to, this is Tobago's, we don't have a parliament, but this is Tobago's version of parliament.
Mm-hmm.
This is our house, our seat of parliament in Tobago, so to speak. And so this is a place of respect on it's an August house, as it's called. And what we are seeing, and I guess it probably should not doesn't surprise me anymore. They are finding very ingenious ways to go lower. But after that display where they played that video under parliamentary privilege of a stranger, it says to me that one, there are people who either they actually do not know, or two, they actually do not care.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably a very dangerous mix of the two of them. They don't know and they don't care. And the basic lack of respect, because what this administration doesn't realize, and it's something that I've heard many stalwarts of the PNM say, that you're not elected as a secretary, you're first elected as an assemblyman. So actually your first responsibility is to represent the people, and that first, one of those areas of representation and that place is the Tobago House of Assembly legislature. So actually you have one of the greatest responsibilities you have as a assemblyman is to ensure that you are at that sitting and that you are able to conduct the business of the people of Tobago. And it seems that transparency and accountability, because that's what the house is for, to make sure that things are presented to the people of Tobago, because that's what you're doing. Whenever the minority leader, any minority leader, it doesn't have to be Assemblyman Kelvin Morris, any minority leader is speaking on behalf of the people of Tobago in some regard. And it's so when the minority leader is asking a question, it's not the Kelvin Morris asking a question. Kelvin is asking on behalf of the people of Tobago. Just like there's a chief secretary for Tobago, there's a minority leader for Tobago. I represent the minority interests of the people of Tobago. And it means then that when I ask a question, I have the full force of the people of Tobago behind me, just like any other secretary, assemblyman, or even the chief secretary. And what I'm seeing, I would share, is contempt of the house. And I know doing some research on contempt, and he's saying it in Westminster, they could even be locked in the clock tower. So right now we should just lock all of them away somewhere, because it is contempt of the house, the refusal to answer the question on the quarry, for example. Yet you're going out in public and pronouncing
on the quarry.
Who is the person in the quarry, in charge of the quarry. That is actually contempt of the house, because what you're doing is standing in the way of the minority leader getting a response on behalf of the people of Tobago. That is contempt of the house. And again, it's either they don't know or they don't care, or as I said, it's a dangerous mix of both. And it's something for the presiding officer. She will be judged as well at the end of this, at the end of her tenure, just as everybody else, of how she's conducting the business and the affairs of the Tobago House of Assembly. I mean, she could go about and say, this is my house, all she wants, whether it's a dolly house or a gingerbread house, it doesn't matter. This is the Tobago House of Assembly, the Assembly Legislature, and we need to start treating with the business of the people of Tobago in a serious manner and holding people accountable. You know, so...
You're so correct, Chris. And when you think about the fact that with respect to this question about the Studley Park quarry, it is the secretary who asked for a deferral. In asking for a deferral, the presiding officer intervened and indicated that he was to supply the question within the response within a period of time. I interrupted and asked the presiding officer for the opportunity for that question to be answered at the next sitting, which should have been October. That request was granted, and the secretary also indicated compliance to that, agreed to that the question will be answered. Only to come after agreeing and being instructed to have the question ready to be answered in October, to come in October and then indicate that he's deferring the question again. And that, as Kwesi just said, if there's any better example of contempt of the House, that clearly is the secretary disobeying the order of the presiding officer. And I do not know if the presiding officer at this point in time is paying attention to what is happening in her house. Because any presiding officer worth her salt would understand that what just transpired there is a clear disrespect and contempt of her order. And is also showing that, again, either they just don't know or they just don't care. Because, and then it also speaks to the character of the person. Because if you agree in one breath, it speaks to integrity. Because if you gave your word unanswered, that I will answer this question at the next sitting, and then turn around and defer the answer when you're on record via the media telling us since May there is a new chairman.
So then it goes to reason why is the question not being responded to in the House? What's the real reason?
Exactly.
Because if you could respond to the media indicating that there's a new chairman and there are queries at the time, be with the old chairman and the current chairman, we are seeing on all the media houses that the chairman is appearing as the chairman. So what is the real reason for the question not being answered in the House on consecutive occasions? And I just want to go back to what transpired at the last sitting. What stood out to me after reviewing the sitting as well is the fact that there is a breakdown in communication with this administration. Because when the presiding officer asked, in particular, if the member is late, if the member will be absent, no member could have answered the whereabouts of the secretary.
Of their colleague.
Of their colleague. And then fast forward to the presentation of the motion, when the clerk would have read through the order paper and the point got to motion, nobody again was aware of the whereabouts to the extent that the presiding officer had to suspend the House. So if this is the way that they deal with the business in the assembly, how are they dealing with the business of governance?
Yeah, in the divisions.
And the irony is I actually happened to tune into, I was looking at Tobago updates on that day, and the Secretary of Tourism was at the launch of the business advisory service that the chamber had launched. And saying, well, she's there representing the Chief Secretary because he's at the Assembly Legislature sitting. And well, lo and behold, he's not there. So where is he?
But and even that, so that said secretary has important questions to answer in the house. Chooses so she does not see that as important. Disregards that to go and represent the chief secretary in a business advisory launch or so. So you're saying that is more important than all the questions. And we are also dealing with the reprioritization budget, which is supposed to be one of the most significant exercise conducted in the House on behalf of the executive. And you are missing in action, nowhere to be found. You have one of the most important divisions in the entire Tobago House of Assembly, in the entire executive, yet you nowhere to be found. And as Councillor Benoit quite rightly asks, if this is how they are managing the affairs of the House, how much less are they managing the affairs of Tobago? What is happening?
Just to allude to something that former Prime Minister said, if they can't get the little things right, what they would do with the big things.
Correct.
What they would do with the big things, like Stanley Park Quarry, for example. What they would do with the big things.
Now, Minority Leader, we also saw, and though we're not moving away totally from the issue, but it's like a domino effect in Tobago right now. Every sector is literally being affected and impacted negatively. As you spoke of the secretary there, we saw the almost collapse of the cruise ship industry. And just like Kwesi said, I also listened up to this morning to the very secretary speak on Tobago updates. And what I mean was funny is that she is saying, well, the silhouette came back. And, so in other words, everything all right. But if my memory serves me right, they make the decision for the next year that, listen, because we had these issues, we are no longer going to return. But it doesn't seem as if she's aware of it.
Yeah, because they're not going to pull out same day.
Same day, yeah.
And from what I understand, one of the guests, I think it was Mr. Was saying that some Mr. Dillon was saying some cruise liners have already cancelled. Yes. So there
we played those clips last year.
There is
there
a
are cancellations already.
And this secretary has not settled into her role. This secretary seems to be too busy being out of the country almost every Monday morning. Imagine you have a secretary that rather than sit down and treat with the urgent matters of the day, such as ensuring that the public transportation system is in such a way to facilitate the arrivals of the cruise season, to ensure that our sites and attractions are in good order and so forth, ensuring that we are having our marketing being done, ensuring that we are building the relationships with our tour agents and so. And rather than do that, she's leaving even after that debacle to go on a study tour, to go and look at what's supposed to be something like the Castara model. So imagine you're leaving. It reminds me of when they left Tobago to go Grenada. Jump Trinidad. If you want to study how communities utilize the natural aesthetic of the community to promote and build a sustainable tourism ecosystem, there's no better model in the Caribbean at this time than the Castara model. So you leave Castara to go on a study tour in Jamaica. And to me, it tells me that these people are, as Kwesi said, either they don't know or they just don't care. And the only thing they care about is the benefits that is accrued from traveling. And we know the per diem is very lucrative, and it seems that some people it has caught their pockets it has caught their bank accounts, and they will do any and everything to travel. I want to make one point on this traveling. I was amazed at what I saw recently, where you had, imagine, secretary, assistant secretary from another division. So you don't even know who really responsible for who the men's program falls under. Is it community development? Is it under health and wellness? And when they couldn't make up their mind, they sent a secretary from one division, assistant secretary, and when that wasn't even enough, you told the advisor, well, you go and get a honeymoon. Yeah. Because what we saw was the advisor publicly displaying on social media photos of him while being paid by the public of Tobago with his newly wedded spouse having a grand time in Grenada at the expense of the Tobago public. And I want to tell persons who are not being paid on time, every time you have an incident where you're not being paid on time, I want you to go to the relevant secretary and remind them of all these trips that is happening where people are having a good time while you have to suffer the pain of not being able to get your pay on time. And it's time enough we hold these secretaries accountable.
And mind you, they're paying for the airline tickets on time.
And you're paying for the accommodation, you're paying for the per diem.
On time.
Yes.
And more than likely, the very money that they say they don't have,
They're finding it because there are reports. People are speaking in the divisions that I am sure, because there is a conversation, and the chief secretary would have spoken about, you know, not having enough funds and the decreases. The chief secretary spoke about the decreases in the DP, while also not speaking about the increases in the recurrent, which contributed to our overall increase in the allocation of 64 million. So, and the chief secretary took time to identify areas that there were shortfalls in terms of the allocation and what the expenditure was. But the chief secretary did not take the time to tell us what was the allocation for overseas travel and what was the expenditure. Because overseas travel, and you are hearing complaints because people are seeing, people are looking, people are becoming aggrieved in the divisions where the accounting officers and the administrators are complaining about the travel, but nothing is happening. Follow my instructions.
Via funds, man. From wherever.
So what is the priority? The priority is to jet.
It's to have a good time. Because I cannot understand for the life of me. Like, it's just like they're now showing off on the Tobagonians. Look at us.
Look me.
Yeah, look at me. Yeah, look at me. Because I couldn't understand that this is supposed to be in an official travel, and when I see this look like a vacation, and I couldn't. How does the chief secretary, and it starts from the head, because I don't understand, and I know for certain no P&M chief secretary would allow such an abuse of the taxpayers' money. None.
Yeah. At all. At all. And
even when you look at the duration of the travel.
And that is it.
That is another thing. Long after the event
and long
ends.
before.
And long before.
But even, and some of us, and I want to speak to public servants, because you are the bastion, the guard of the public purse, the gatekeepers, right? And it is therefore your responsibility to ensure that the policies are followed to its fullest end. And you must not allow yourself, and I'm speaking from the head to the toe, you from the top to the bottom, you must not allow yourself to be lured into the splurge of this administration. You must not allow yourself to be lured into the splurge. I'm speaking to the head right down to the toe, from the top right down to the bottom.
And in case you didn't understand, the public service you're talking about.
And I'm speaking about the public service
in Tobago.
In Tobago. No, because you see, it is very easy for persons to take public servants on and you know, show them the life, to have them get so comfortable that they forget what their real responsibility is.
And
Exactly.
what they do is they use these public servants and other individuals to buttress their positions.
Correct.
Because they are using people's and I've heard someone say very often when principles and ethics clash with self-interest tend to win.
Yeah.
To prevail. And we are seeing where people's self-interests tend to prevail, and they're using this carrot to this fool's gold to lure persons, to show them the good life, as they say. Offer people big positions without interviews. I know of people who have jumped ship from whatever job they had because they were promised a bigger salary, and then months later they can't get paid. People who were very principled when the PNM was in office, and they ensured that they followed everything to the letter of the law, and now all of a sudden it's okay, that could pass. We need to look at yourselves in the mirror, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And when I say yourself and check yourself, I'm talking about all of Tobago, because really, Andrew, my thing is about me getting mine. But really what you're doing is stopping Tobago from getting this. Or from getting ours.
Correct.
And we have to be mindful of that. And it's sad to hear some of the programs that are falling apart, while again people are prioritizing travel. And I really waited with bated breath to hear what the priorities of this assembly would have been at the last sitting. And
up till now,
I'm still yet to get a clear picture of what the priorities are. All I know is that the executive jumps from community to community, making new memes for Trinidadians and the world over. People are sending me from the world over to make Tobago a laughing stock. And you know, some of my cousins who have Tobago roots are sending me these things, and I just have to hang my head and say, "But how you get this already?" Because sometimes by the next day,
the world is looking on.
So it is like we have gone from being such a highly respected island in terms of our governance and the seriousness of how our business to a laughing stock in so many regards.
Animal farm.
Yes.
Animal farm. And minority leader, sometimes people think that these issues are only being raised at this level. Just today we saw young Panis, Mr. Balfour, actually come out begging, and he's not the first person that has gone live. Actually, we have a portion of the clip. I don't know if you want us to take a quick look at it.
But we could take, but what stood out for me is the fact, more than the injustice in terms of the delayed pay, but he also recognized that a lot of persons, as Kwesi said, who would have been very principled in the past, would have spoken out on issues and vocal. They have now just gone very silent, and he is now these said persons to find your moral compass again. And more than ever, Tobago is saying to them, Tobago needs your voice more now than ever. Because where we are going as an island, if we allow it to wait to the point of our next election, it might go so far. It would be too difficult to pull it back. And that is just the reality of what is in front of us at this time. It's very frightening. I don't think people understand the seriousness and the consequences. Our tourism sector is being derailed. All the work that would have been put in before now is being undermined. When you look at the agricultural sector, it's going absolutely nowhere. Nothing is happening. They have mashed up the contractors that we have built, that we would have empowered, that would have built capacity over time. They have completely derailed that to the point that banks are on their backs, and that has also had a ripple effect because you have a number of persons who were employed in the private sector no longer able to get gainful employment. So they are home frustrated. Some of them perhaps are getting themselves caught up in other things to make ends meet, which are not positive. You also have this situation where you're seeing this consistent decline in the labor force. You're seeing people, you're getting also people fleeing the island, leaving, so you're getting the brain drain as well, because those who are coming back, those young people who would have qualified themselves coming back looking for opportunity, they are now realizing there's nothing here for me and they are leaving. You also have the situation where the THA that this chief secretary claimed was too large is getting even larger on him. But what is interesting, it is getting larger at the non-productive areas. So because they are doing now, not even, I wouldn't even call it make work, because you're giving them half a work, which is the 10-on, 10-off. In fact, I understand they're going and take on more 10-on, 10-off because they're trying, they understand that they have not stimulated the private sector. They have not stimulated the economy to provide employment for these people, but they understand the frustration on the ground and they're trying just to
people broken and frustrated. Broken and frustrated.
But it's very interesting because it's the said chief secretary in a press conference would have indicated that based on their location, with their existing labor force under the development program, if they pay, they would not have resources to purchase material. So then why would you now go and expand the labor force even further?
Well, because Mr. Minority Leader, let me go a step further with it. Today I had the opportunity to drive into a particular compound of a division, and I saw a huge crowd of young men only standing outside of where the secretary's office is. So I perused the area and I put myself in a key strategic place, and they were collecting ID cards. And one young man indicated that, they call out a whole set of us. They say they will give us some morning work and thing. And when I saw it, I said, this is crazy. And when you look at the young men fresh out of school.
But even so, what is also happening on top of all that? So they are sitting around their tables, and it's only the 13 independents, because at this point, as much as they hold executive power, no one voted for these people as independents, but yet they are determining that they are going to take the entire pie, all the opportunities. So nothing for the assemblyman who over 2,500 people voted for came out and participated, and over 800 people voted for in Darrell Spring Wim. Nothing for their former colleague up at Roxborough, who would have campaigned and assisted tremendously in getting all of them to where they are now. Nothing for us, who are also representative, who also have persons with expectations looking for jobs. But they sit down and determine between themselves that they would apportion the jobs, the 10-on, 10-off, and nothing for those persons who come to our offices diligently, indicate that they have needs. Some of them really, really have a need where they have their families, they have their children to see about. Some of them have maintenance to pay for and all of that. And nothing for them but time longer than twine.
Really, really sombering thoughts, and you know, as you were saying, Minority Leader, where is the value that is coming from all of this to Tobago? At the end of the day, how does Tobago really benefit?
And you know, it's sad because one of the things I would credit former Chief Secretary Kelvin Charles on was that focus on building capacity. And there were so many programs where it was not just simply give a job, but you are learning a skill that can really take you through life. So in many cases, it was preparing persons at the community level to take ownership of those opportunities that would come in the community by making them skilled in various areas, whether it be carpentry, plumbing, and so forth. But what you're seeing is the programs are just haphazard to no end. There's no proper planning. There's no foundation. In fact, where is the building on the comprehensive economic development plan? What is the fiscal premise of what is happening? It's just by VAPs. It's honestly just the chief secretary's fantasy and feeding that fantasy, and then everybody's in their corner doing their own thing. Because based on what I saw last Thursday in the House, this chief secretary has absolutely no control over his executive, and that is why we can't get our reshuffle to this day, because there are persons who are there that are even more powerful than the chief secretary himself. So they are untouchables. And therefore, even when he declared he was going to reshuffle, he had to pull back. Up to this day, he cannot even touch the pack. As bad as the deck is, as bad as the hand that has been dealt to Tobago is, he can't even say, well, let me shake it up a little bit and shift it around.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Minority Leader, even as you said, building on the comprehensive economic development plan, even if you are saying that that plan is not good for you, you have indicated that you will commence a process to build in your own plan. Where is that process? What have you done to date? What is happening? Because it just seems so haphazard in terms of all the initiatives. The Chief Secretary indicated that persons will come. So he would have listed a number of priorities across divisions. And he indicated that persons will come by the divisions and elaborate on what the priorities are. Save and except one division, I did not hear any priorities from any division.
Yeah. And before Kwesi comes in, I just had an opportunity to look briefly at the community meetings, and I saw the Chief Secretary in his opening statements. And one of the things he's there talking about is that he sent this Scarborough development plan to the Prime Minister, and he sent it there. And sometimes when I listen to he behaves like, this ungreat that it's like, do as I say. And when I do, so I could tell you, stay out today, and I could call you back tomorrow. And he believes he's some kind of emperor. So after you telling the Prime Minister, you want to take the central government to court in one breath for more money, but in the same breath, you're telling them, come, I want you to help me build out this comprehensive. And you can't be fishing for, it's either want collaboration or you want to fight. You can't want to fight and want to...
And the same thing happened with the quarry as well, where they cancelled the visit of the Prime Minister.
And I saw a clip where he was boasting about he makes no apology for not allowing the Prime Minister to come to the quarry. And is the same person you also want to now send this plan to tell them, I want the money to cut and do all this thing. And
interestingly, after the meeting with the Minister of Trade, they then schedule a meeting
for the quarry visit.
So
after the grand charge yourself,
hilarious.
You now have to put your tail between your legs.
And in one breath, you're saying to Tobagonians, and you're trying to make the central government out to be this bad thing. And at the same time, but when you look at the posture of the ministers, you are seeing ministers coming in good faith.
And willing to collaborate.
So what you're selling to Tobago is absolutely not what you're seeing actually. And what you're actually seeing is a chief secretary that is just deliberately combative, that is looking for a fight even when there's none.
Well, there's a saying, I think it was Roosevelt, who said a general without a war is unemployed. And so the chief secretary, as the general of this troop, these are the troops, you should always make sure that there is a war.
That's the plan.
That is his plan. So he always wants to create an environment where there's a war, and so that we need this general to fight on our behalf and to strategize. But really and truly, there is no war. There is no war. It's a lot of propaganda.
Yeah.
But there is no war.
Because it feeds into their politics. So, oh Lord, the time flew so fast. But no, it is clear that their mission is to create a narrative to blame the central government for all their failures. They know they do not have the ability to implement that Scarborough development plan.
Yeah.
But it's to tell Tobagonians when they know they can't implement it, that it is the central government don't want Scarborough to be developed. It's just as how when I produced that 76 line item of project and told them that is what you said after you got your money. This isn't you forecasting it. This is after you got your money. You told Tobago these 76 areas are the things I would focus on and deliver to you based on what I have. Only to realize out of the 76, you only completed 20. Abysmal failure. That is a score for remedial students. And you know what was amazing? You know all of them accept their remedial class.
Yeah,
nobody in protest. Nobody even ask for half mark. And nobody's even query. And say, well, at least I did do
they
this,
had no more
or I did do that.
Or even give
a reason, a real reason.
Why?
All they came was to tell you the central, and that is to tell you how disingenuous they are. Because this is what, after they got the allocation, and they decided this is what we will do with it, they still turn around and blame the central government for failing to do what they said they were doing.
Yep.
So that it is clear what the strategy is, and Tobagonians need to be alert, and Tobagonians need to call them out because they're getting the money. So when they pay you late, it's not that the central government didn't give them money. They have the money to pay you.
But
exactly.
You know, the entire thing reminds me of a quote that I tend to go to very often from Joel A. Barker. Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision is just a waste of time. And vision with action can change the world. What we are seeing is the first two very often. We are seeing a lot of action without vision, and we're hearing a lot of vision and talking and no action. It's all good to sell people dreams, and you won the campaign trails and you did whatever and you sold every possible dream that you could sell. But right now, the people of Tobago are waiting for the actions. And as the minority leader said, there's no action to back it up. There's a lot of hot air. And give credit where credit is due. The Chief Secretary is a good talker, and he does a lot of that. But at the end of 4 years, people can't measure talk because talk is nothing but hot air. And we are getting more, and I guess the place is getting hotter and hotter.
The place is getting
hotter, as the man said on the thing, it's getting hotter. Because all of the hot air that is coming out of this administration, it's just getting hotter and hotter. And I really would like to see them buckle down. There are so many things that the PNM administration started as well that they could build on for quick wins, you know. But bad mind and wickedness.
Yes.
They're leaving this thing languishing. I went to Charlottesville the other day and seen the facility in Bacalet, seen the Goodwood Field, the Goodwood Pavilion,
Canaan.
Canaan grounds. I see sheep trying to help them cut the field now. See the condition of the field in Charlottesville. And that is nothing but wickedness and bad mind. But they go on and start Blue Food Village in Bloody Bay. Stall because you didn't consult with the people. You go on and rush and build beef facility that you never use one day after. The sand from that we beg for in Washway now. All right, and you know they're gonna build something else in Cove, and they just want to build because they think that putting a name on a plaque would equate to people saying yes, you did something, but really and truly there's no plan, action without any vision. And that's what we're seeing now.
Before you close off, one last question. So it is my understanding that that facility is already costing about $50 million. And in the budget, the reprioritization, I heard the Chief Secretary said for phase 2, it would cost $20 million. So I really hope that the information that I have is incorrect. And I challenge, if the info, please correct us. Let us know, Mr. Chief Secretary, what was the cost of phase 1? Because what I'm hearing, it is 50 million. And if, as you indicated, phase 2 will be 20 million, it would be absurd to think that a beach facility that we would only use perhaps once, twice, or 3 times a year is costing the Tobago taxpayer over $70 million when you are telling us you don't have any money to do almost anything. So I really would hope that the Chief Secretary will treat with that, tell us what did that phase 1 cost and what will the completed facility cost.
A number of questions there for our elected officials, and we are hoping that we can receive some sort of answers to these questions. This evening, I want to thank those in studio. We have Minority Council with a final comment.
No, I would just say, Tobagonians, speak up and speak out. I would say to the administration, buckle down and start to govern in the interest of all Tobagonians. I am also going to put a plug for those contract workers in Tobago House of Assembly who daily, monthly is fearful about losing their jobs and their bread and butter. You campaigned on a promise that you will deal with bread and butter issues, and it appears as if, not it appears, but what you are doing is taking away bread and butter from Tobagonians. So I am encouraging the administration, settle down, govern for all of Tobago.
Thank you very much, Minority Councillor. So folks, we are not out of information or words, but we are definitely out of time. We would continue along these lines next week as we continue to highlight many of the prevailing issues in the THA. Thank you for staying with us thus far. Thank you for logging in, and thank you for spreading the information that you receive. I, Barrel and David, saying to you, good night and God bless.